different from many others who just come to Expo. Both of you guys traveled in China extensively before making your trip here, right? Tell us about your trip in localities in China.
We visited Qingdao. We drove 350 kilometers to get to a farm and to actually see a farm for equipment that we want to bring to Colombia. We want to start to import some of the technology that we have here. It's amazing the development that you have in research and development. It's amazing what you have been achieved in the past years, and we want to buy that technology in order to be more efficient.
We've actually been coming up here for over 10 years. We've been trying to get market access for well over 10 years. So we've travelled a lot to Beijing over the years and other cities. A couple of months ago we were up here and we went to Yunnan.
Yes.
And this last week we went to Sichuan, because what we're trying to do is work with the Chinese growers as part of a goodwill program to help them improve their production practices in their avocado industries.
What you just said, very interesting, that you not only want to have access to the market, but also actually you are nurturing the skills of possibly your future competitors. How does that work in trade? I mean, it's not just one-way traffic. It's not just a win and lose, but rather win-win. How does that work?
Yeah, so we see the market here in China for avocados is enormous. It's only at the very early stages of growth. I think last year 60,000 tonnes, but the potential in the market here is enormous.
You study your numbers, my friend.
And we think there's plenty of room here for both the Chinese industry and the avocado industry.
Well, these two gentlemen are busy traveling around China. What about for you, Madam Yu? I know that you are trying to facilitate their visits here at CIIE and try to let them have access to their future counterparts in China, and also help them, facilitate them, for example, whether it's market access or whether it's purchasing of Chinese equipment and knowledge and know-how. How are you working with them?
We are so glad because we are not only just export, we also import. In agriculture and food area, our trade is deficit. So the deficit last year, for example, is over the $132.9 billion US dollar. But I think we still have to learn more. Just like you just mentioned, one thing is very interesting, competitor, potential competitor. So this is the very warm things and very special things in agriculture, in the farmer, among the farmers. You know, we want to move forward together, not only by ourselves. Though that means the old industry move together, that means we just give the voices to the global consumers. Right. So that's why it's very special one and very warm one. Okay. So for us, we want every good high quality things, especially the food and the culture, should be known by Chinese consumers.
How does trade work? Because these days we have multilateral trading systems such as the WTO. We also have regional trade mechanisms. For example, RCEP, Gonzalo, about a bilateral free trade agreement, multilateral trading mechanism. How does that work for a country like a developing one, yours?
One of the aspects that we have seen is tariffs is not only the problem right now. As I shared with the avocados from Australia, the problem is market access. And it's also that many countries, we cannot produce everything that we need. We need to cooperate. And that's the principle that we have learned since the 80s. Because, for instance, right now, the metro for Bogota is being developed by a Chinese company. It's the largest metro of all Latin America. It's 24 kilometers, the first line. And it's going to be start in operation in 2025. So that is something that we are working together, and we start looking more to the relationship between Asia and Latin America, because we have some stuff that maybe you don't have here. For instance, water. 65% of the farms that we produce poultry use rainwater because it rains a lot. And twice the fed that one chicken consumes per day is water. So you need a lot of water to produce chicken and eggs, and that is something that we have been working really tough. and all the sustainability and everything. So I believe that we need to see trade as a win-win relationship, and that's why we are here. We have crossed all across the world because there is an opportunity for both of our countries regarding trade.
Lou, now here comes the issue. I would like to ask you as well. Trade is becoming a more controversial topic, unfortunately. So when you are working on your association, how do you make sure the products that you are in charge of will be less impacted by the ferocious debates about geopolitics, the disputes that we see in certain cases about trade?
Just I think from my personal opinions, I think there are two sides. Yeah, so one side, because China has already signed 22 FTA with the more than 29 regions and countries. So yeah, free trade agreement. So it's very important. And then it's not only promote the import in Chinese market in agriculture and the food area, but also we promote export. So because we are not only we are the second agriculture and trade countries in the world, so we export a lot. So I think from this side, the marketing access is also very important for Chinese companies and the Chinese industries. Right. Yeah, so it's the very equal, I think, sometimes. But now today we're talking about the avocado and the poultry from the Colombia cannot receive the marketing access. For us, also our poultry, well-cooked poultry or fresh poultry, cannot to export a lot of places because of the protocol. We have to talk with, negotiate it with protocol. So this is, so I think must be benefit the old industry. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the second thing, the other side, I think we can see the competitive. For us, I think the high quality development in China and the new productive, the quantity first forces in China is in agriculture sector is the food safety. Yeah, this is a priority thing. So I think, and also with this basic line, now you can just talk about innovation, you can talk about the other things, what you want. So I think I totally agree with both friends from Australia and Colombia. Yeah, the competitive exists, not today. It's for a long time. But how to cooperation and to deal with the global things need a global method to deal with. So I think this is very important. So the industry cooperation, it shows more important than ever.
Colombia also participated in the Belt and Road Initiative. How will this help your country, a developing country, understand better about what's in the mind of China? And also what's in the mind of all the other players in this mechanism, and as a result, help with what you are trying to do?
We see China as an example of how you can grow and move from producing a product to produce technology. And how these free trade agreements at the end, what you do is you leverage some of the knowledge that the other countries have and have these products that they don't produce, or have this technology that they may have that we don't have. But this cooperation at the end, what it brings is an opportunity for the consumers to buy better products at a better price. Mm-hmm. So at the end, like, we want to sit down with China, have a free trade agreement. That is something that have been put on the table several times. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's the next step that we are doing. We have a free trade with the United States. It was signed in 2012. And when that started, our poultry sector was really scared. Right now, we produce chicken cheaper than in the US. Why? Because we became so competitive using the limited resources that we have. And we did something that Madame Yu says. We improved our sanitary status and our quality of the product that we produce even better than in the US right now. So we are saying to the US, let's have access for the chicken wings now. And they are saying, because there is a shortage, a chicken it only have 2 paws and 2 legs. So they say, hey, and 2 wings. And they say, I want the wings, we will say the paws. So there is an opportunities. But we, in order to compete, to the consumers to buy better products, you need to compete. If you close your market,
Yes.
at the end, you will have some consumer that will pay a lot of money for low quality products. We are amazed about the quality of the cars that you have. Because we don't have so many brands. And some of the brands that you have never seen it
Yeah,
before.
particularly electronic vehicles.
Yes.
Yeah. Much cheaper and
Much cheaper.
so cheap to run.
Cheaper and with a lot of technology. We're amazing.
Low carbon print.
So that is something, that is free trade.
And what about for you, John?
I guess in Australia, we have very open markets, and we've been subject to very open markets for a long time. So we're very used to no tariffs. So we have to compete. We're a very high cost producer. Particularly, our labour costs are phenomenally high. And when you're producing something like a horticulture product, there is a lot of labour involved, and so it's important that
How to remain competitive.
yes, so that's why I say to all of our growers, we will never be the cheapest, but we have to be the best, and not just in the quality, but also in the service that we provide. Making sure that we're good people to do business with. We also invest in growing markets at the moment. So growers pay levies in Australia that go into R&D and marketing and promotion. So we've got marketing and promotion programs in all the countries that we've currently got access to, and we'll be doing that once we get access to China. We'll be investing in growing the market, not just for Australia, but for that category as a whole.
Yeah. I mean, it may not necessarily happening to your country, but there is the concern that there might be rising tariffs from one economy to another. Sometimes there can be collateral damage, as we all understand in today's complex world. And also there is rising, shall I say, skepticism about multilateral trading systems such as WTO, which of course needs reform, but still is one of the mechanisms that holds us together all as one. So when we have quote-unquote thunderstorms almost in the backdrop, how do you, working on specific issues, avocado, poultry, equipment, market access, and competition, cooperation, how do you process all these important and gigantic topics? How to make sure they are going to evolve in a way that's going to benefit your consumer and also your producers and the people that you're representing?
You have to know how to juggle. You have to keep all those balls in the air. You have to be across what's going on around the world. We need to understand, who are our competitors, where the opportunities are, what global policy is looking like. Yeah, it's a matter of keeping those balls in the air and staying abreast of what's going on.
So for me, I think the very deep impress in my mind the one thing the Premier Li Qiang said with the China don't take the unilateral opening up method. Unilateral open up method, that means we don't care what you do, but we want to open up our market and our market. So I think this is very important. For us, the priority things is to just help our industry improve, help our industry knows the competitive, how to is the equal competitive. So this is very important.
I think there is an opportunity because there are some countries that are going to close down, but they will need to trade with other options. So we cannot waste a crisis, as Churchill says. There's a huge opportunity. We are talking in the International Poultry Council because we have a huge problem with avian influenza. But that situation made us talk about the best practices that we have across the world. We are sharing what we have learned, and with trade, we're doing exactly the same. Two of the largest producers of chicken in the world, Brazil and the US, you sign an agreement trying to cooperate because we need to work together. The people need to be fed in our cases, and we can produce that. If some markets close, there are some other markets that they need access. So I think there is an opportunity, and we need to start looking the global commerce less Eurocentric and less American-centric and talk about here more. Yeah. That's why we are here.
Fascinating conversation, ladies and gentlemen, I have to say. And we hope we can work together as all of you just beautifully illustrated.